What up to everybody out there in the Shark Tank? I see you. Big shout out to the Shark Tank. What's up? I know what time it is. It is Talk Shit Tuesday. Again, big shout out to everybody in the Shark Tank. Big shout out to all my people out there on the back street. Let me get my shout outs out the way right quick here. Big shout out to my man, Double M Desbo in the house, coming in, bite down and shake that like button. To all my people on the back street, y'all know what time it is. Roll them up, get that drink together, sit back in that chair, relax, enjoy the show. And for everybody, don't forget to hit that like button. Big shout out again to my man Double M Desbo. Bite down and shake that like button. Another big shout out to hometown, my man, representing El Diablito in the house. What up, fam? Videos is funny, man. Just letting you know. Appreciate the love. Big shout out to longtime supporter, the one and only, my man, Dickie Foster in the house. What up, fam? Yo, show enough. I see you, fam. What up? Big shout out to Beto Rashad in the house. What up, fam? Milltown Kennels. I see you, fam. Long time no see, fam. What up? See what else I got here. Big shout out to my man Melee. What up, fam? The one and only Hart and Finney's Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Azad Bucks in the house. What up, fam? My man Kaling, the Go Kennels representing in the Shark Tank tonight. What up, fam? Big shout out to Green Team in the house. What up, fam? The one and only Mr. William McNeil in the house. What up, fam? Let's see what I got here. All right, fellas. Hey, don't forget to hit that like button. And to all my people out there in the back street and everybody, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, just go out there and just hit that little subscribe button. You don't need the notification because you know we're trying to be here every Tuesday and Fridays. You know what I'm saying? So you don't have to be notified. All you got to do is show up. Sometimes, you know, time's a little different based on situations. But either way, you can expect us to show up when necessary. Big shout out to my big brother in the house, the one and only. The one and only, my man, 7-8 Sports TV coming in saying hello, kicking the dough down, representing as always, kicking us down with the 5-piece. Appreciate the love, fam. Hey, fellas, tonight we're trying to have like a short night because everybody's trying to get to the debate, and I want to see the damn debate myself. But before we get started, we're going to just let this roll and see where it takes us. Being the debates, you know, it's an important debate tonight. One of the biggest debates we've always had, and it's one of the funnest debates to have when you're around a room full of dog men. You know, a lot of times when you associated with different type of dog men and everybody's together and they have the knowledge, you hear a lot of back and forth. Certain, you know, how people done certain things and why they done certain things, and I mean, it's just a great conversation. And if you're not very familiar with the dogs, it's good to just sit back and just listen, because you will learn so much by just listening. Now, when you're not that familiar, there's always going to be a lot of things that you don't understand and you don't know. But the fact is, as you're listening, you'll hear important things going in the conversation, which something's going to grab your attention, and you're going to go back and you're going to research it. Because most of the time, it's not good. I mean, debating is basically two people standing on something, and they're going back and forth. Now, dealing with these dogs, I used to watch, you know, first of all, I watched Mo and Pope. Now, Pope taught Mo how to read papers. So you got to take it like being the dummy one-on-one class on reading papers and understanding pit bulls. So you got to understand that conversation got more intense the more knowledge Mo was able to take in, because now he's being able to bring in things and from his own research and his ability to take that information and put it to work and have his own results. So now as he gets older into this, their conversations got more intense. The dog situation got more intense because now you're taking dogs to Pope bred, and now you're taking dogs to Mo bred, and now you know who did the better breeding, who created the better dogs. I watched Mo and RKP go at it many times. Now remember, RKP is behind a lot of the great dogs that we had, and a lot of the great dogs that our proteges had. You know, so his intelligence level when it came to throwing things together was amazing. But it never really, he needed somebody to prove his point. You know, and that's why I always felt that, you know, him and Mo's disagreements always came down to where, you know, Mo would do exactly what he say do, and then Mo would do what he wanted to do, and then they put it to the test. KP is untouchable because remember, 90% of the dogs that we use came from him. It was his ideal. It was his breeding program. All that he needed us to do was show him that we could make it work. Why us? Because with us, he had confidence in what we were doing. So that was one of the important things that made him more persuasive into trying different things and knowing that if I put them in the right hands, they're going to do the right things about it. So the debates as we were growing into this and became winners and travelers, we all traveled together. We all got a chance to see so many things. But the game got harder because we went one direction. He stuck to one thing. He didn't like what we were doing over here, but it never stopped him from doing what he was doing. But we were still being able to create the things we created, which one of the major reasons why we didn't always have just the same old shit on the yard. We had combinations of different things because you had Mo doing things and then you had KP doing things. And then we out there working, so you know that's where we got a chance to see, and then being able to produce. You know, it wasn't just about creating match dogs for us in the beginning. Yeah, it was because that was the first and foremost. But then once you had them, you done your things with them. How was the breeding part gonna go? KP, he had his way of doing things. Mo had his way of doing things, and then they had their way of doing things together. Debate was a lot of the reasoning why I always said, you know, those great debates, them going back and forth, led to some unbelievable good dogs. I don't think even in their own minds that they thought the results would come out the way they did. And especially for my KP, because he didn't match dogs. I mean, not as much as we did. But he was able to have that eye, and he traveled with us all the time. So he's seen a lot. And he was always that one that wanted to know, you know, how that dog bred. Because he was one that believed in traits, you know, body form, styles. You know, he knew how to lock in on what was needed to create or take something that he already had and wanted to enhance it. He was a mad scientist at doing that shit. But him and Mo used to argue nights, end on end, And then when you have a room full of dog men, I mean, great dog men. I remember nobody could talk more than McNasty and Mr. T. Um, James Edwards was another one who had produced a lot of great dogs, but then him and Kimsey were debaters. Even though they used each other, they were using different shit, doing shit together, but I watched them go at it. Another great one was I seen Bob Finley and Tom Garner. Great debaters. Two great dog men. Two great dog men that produced their own type of lines, bloodlines. But imagine what that debate sounded like. Funny, but very entertaining, but a whole lot of knowledge because, you get a chance of sitting there, just standing there, just not having to, don't even get in the conversation, just sit there and just listen. All the information that you could gather up, that they're using some of their best information to prove their points. And that's the thing about debating. It's different when you're just talking out the side of your neck compared to when you're talking based off of your knowledge and your experience based on what you've done. And I found that to be very important because what it led to are the success of all these different breeding programs. And to me, we see a lot of debating on nonsense because you can't get information when you're being fed a lot of nonsense. It's almost like I'm telling you the sky is blue when we go outside and we know if somewhere above them clouds the sky is blue, but at that moment somebody can sit up and say, well, if you look up there, it's raining outside, it's gray as hell out there, how the hell are you going to say the sky is blue? Because we all know on the other side of the cloud the sky is going to be blue. But for that moment, what's the fact? That man has a lot to stand on when he goes out and says the sky is not blue right now, the sky is gray. And he can stand on that, end on end. Just like that man can stand on the fact that he knows above that gray cloud, there's a blue sky. So you have a lot of fact, but you also have fact without seeing, because we don't see the blue sky above the gray that's above the gray clouds. You don't see it, and that's what leads to that part when you don't really know. Are you going to believe? When you know there's a blue sky up there, you can't help but understand that point. But what about the things that you don't know? And some of the arguments that people have with nothing to stand on. See, it's hard to get into a conversation with somebody who doesn't have the information to back it up. That is when it gets to be arguments. Because a good debater will come with fact. Because one thing about fact is almost going to always be based on history. Things that you can go put your hands on, things that you can relate to, things in your experience, things that you know for yourself. You can stand on that because that's where your fight is always going to be at, based on things that you know, things that you can prove. When it comes down to bloodlines, we all, let's take the conversation and just put it out there, the elephant in the room. There's not too much in the breeding program that has not already been done. That is a fact. You can go all the way back to when they got off that boat and they didn't even know what a paper was. They didn't know how the dog was bred when they first started doing this. But then you had certain people like Kobe, Leitner, Hansel. All these guys, they started creating their own type of dog. But if you notice, as they started coming into the future, look at all the different ways that people were taking those original dogs and how they were adding to them. like at some point when they started adding, it became theirs. How did it become theirs when they was using somebody else's shit? Well, because they were doing things that the other people weren't doing. And then what made the difference? Well, he's got better dogs. You know, Maurice Carver, great breeder, but he matched his dogs. So I always looked at it when you wanted to have a conversation about what you had on your yard. What I'm trying to do is, I'm not trying to deter people away from doing what you do. I'm trying to get you to understand the basis of what leads to certain things in conversations, that when you're debating something, you always want to have something that you can stand on. And experience and your knowledge will always make a great debater. And especially against an opponent who might not have as much knowledge that you might have, or created, you know, more than what you can say you created. And the reason I bring that up, because I have had a lot of conversations with Mo over the years about him arguing, him and our KP, the way they used to argue. I mean, all just brawls almost, because their minds were set on certain things. Like RKP didn't like the Mayday stuff, but he had to be convinced. He didn't like the Stone City stuff, but he had to be convinced. But look at all the other stuff that he was creating. When he started implementing that into what he was doing, that led to us having same type of dogs, bred different ways, but because of the core of what we were already using, we didn't lose anything. We were actually bringing more into actually each other, based on what he was doing and what we was doing. And when it came together, we actually were getting better dogs. But that's the sole purpose of the debate process. Because in the end, you're going to agree to disagree. But one thing you're never going to be able to change is the fact. Because why do we even talk about anything that hasn't created or done anything? What is it to talk about? Where would the conversation be if it wasn't a reason to have that conversation? You know, so that's why I'm a stickler in me myself. I don't get into those conversations with them because, first of all, I never have put in the work that, you know, Mo and a lot of those other guys done. I didn't even never get into them arguments, simply because I didn't know enough and understand papers enough. Now, if you watch Mo, sometimes he can pull up some papers or see some papers, and based on the way the breeding is, he could tell you exactly when he go back what you're fixing to find. He's been doing it for a lot of years. He's seen a lot. So he can do that type of shit. RKP, same thing. He can look at some papers, go back before he even get into the fifth or sixth generation. He would tell you what he's fixing to see once he gets back there. That's important. That is very important. And as we go through these pedigrees, like we've been in the last two shows, to show and to get you guys to understand, there is a formula to the things that we've done. But you don't have to just take what we have done. You can take and look at other people's work. You will notice there's different bloodlines, and there have always been different bloodlines thrown into everything that has been created. So if you're going to take that mindset and you understand that moving forward, regardless of what you're doing with your dogs, in order to create the dog worth even talking about, you have to find that formula, just what you can make yours. See, once you make it yours and something good comes out of it, they're going to talk about your creation. And it's easier for you to debate your creation because you created it. You can go and actually say why you did what you did because of this, and this. And if you look at it, it was like this. And it was, I mean, all the things once you do something worthy of people talking about. Because at that point, you can debate that fact because of your knowledge based on your experience. And you actually, it was your ingredient. It was your formula. You can stand on it. Remember, this game was built on competition. That's first and foremost. And that competition started long before my time. And the key to that competition was to make the ultimate bulldog. That same mind frame, moving into the future, I expect to work the same way because, again, that's how we are to where we are now when it comes to the American Pit Bull Terrier. Regardless of what you use it for, it's got to have them traits based on your purpose, your know-how, your ability. You are responsible for creating that great wall climber, that great treadmill runner. I mean, I guess it's things like that that make people, well, put like when we breed, and like I said, we breed for a purpose. And I always go back to the Malamars because remember, they're not meant to be fighting dogs. They are guard dogs. They're great, great attack dogs, great protection dogs. They're not great pets because, to have a great pet, you're not supposed to worry about it. But Malamars, to me, they're not great pets because a great pet will let people come around and, and friendly and everything. But to be a great dog like that, and I think Chaos is a great dog, but Chaos is not a people person dog. Very, very well trained dog, but I wouldn't trust him around, people just walking in or because he's so focused. Now, that is due to how he was bred. You would have to know his mother and his father. You will understand. Chaos actually came out of a litter, and he is actually the only living dog out of 6 dogs, if I remember. Might have been more than that, but all the other dogs had to be put down because the wrong people had them. Now, the mother and father, the right person had them because she was a trainer. She knows how to handle them. But due to the results, those dogs weren't meant for just anybody. Them dogs had to be in the right person's hands and the right person to know what to do with them, or look what happened. All gone but one. But yet, because of Chaos, guess what? The traits in that bloodline still continues. Bulldogs work the same exact way. We always talk about, Blondie, females that are cold. And I told y'all the last show, how females would came out of, litters of, everything else is hot as a firecracker, but the golden child of that litter is the cold bitch. Because guaranteed she's packing everything. And for us, we've had that success with cold bitches. And I can't name but maybe 1 or 2 that were literally cold to produce. Believe it or not, Shaquille was one. Believe it or not, Shaquille was cold as hell. But look what she produced. Look at Blondie. Cold as hell. But look what she produced. Dolly and Polly, cold as hell, but look what they produced. When you're having them conversations and we're debating cold bitches, we can come up with a whole bunch of cold bitches that were able to produce some great dogs. The, the debate would be based on why would you keep a cold dog? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Actually, off the top of my head, I can tell you any cold males. Maybe Mo could, but you know, I understand that Mo is anything foundation wise, it was always going to be about the bitches. So I can't say May 2 wasn't cold. I just know we never really had too many cold males around us. None that I can remember off the top of my head. And I mean, we had a yard full of dogs, and I can't tell you one male out there that was cold. Some that were just better than others. But when you're having that conversation about the breeding process and the different line breeds and all the things, when y'all trying to create shit instead of just throwing shit together, I mean, the results was always going to come out. But again, what makes that dog special? Remember, we were always breeding for the purpose of making something special. Our purpose. Even with our guard dogs, there's a reason why we breeding these dogs. There's a purpose. Now, we don't know if either they're able to produce like we think they will, but won't know until we put them together. Get the right bitch, put them with this male, which this is the type of dogs we're supposed to get. Well, fortunately, we can tell you that our Malinois can produce hot dogs like him. I think his puppies are like 3 months old, and I guess being around, they automatically act a certain type of way. They didn't have to be trained. They didn't have to watch mom and pop. It was something that was that's already there. And then the intelligence level. Well, we used to get the same, look at our pit bulls the exact same way. I just told you on Friday, you know what I mean? Everybody being the pen. But we're watching everybody closely. When you understand that and you've been through that process, imagine having a conversation about a bloodline that you put together based on a great dog. Your conversation, your argument will always be like Bolio. Okay, let's say Red Boy Jeep Bolio. To me, I can argue that point if I would like Mo because of, you look at the Mayday situation. With that Bolio in there, would Mayday have been the same dog without the Bolio? We don't know. But one damn thing for sure, with that type of breeding and how it was bred, it was able to create great dogs and were able to produce great dogs. There's an argument. Now, people can argue that all day long. But one thing you can't get away from is the fact. The fact is that type of breeding created this. History is going to show you. Now, to match that, it's like you'll see a lot of, well, I'm not going to say you see a lot, but even with that Red Boy, Jeep Roscoe, Bolio, St. Benedict's, you even starting to see some of that Eli being thrown in there, because one of the reasons I see that happening, because if you take some of the great bloodlines and you go back and see what actually created. The more you keep sticking to maybe the Red Boy or the Jeep or the Rascal, you're going to miss the Bolio part. You can't forget the Bolio. I mean, there was so many things that when I see people going back and forth, they forget about that one little extra ingredient. Like we always talk about that Zebo. I'll always tell you, you got to get that, have that Zebo in there. Why we always say Zebo? Because if you go back there and look, you're always going to see a taste of it as it's coming up forward. For the ones that's always working, you're going to always go back there and you're going to find that Zebo. He does that a lot. I don't know if you guys be catching it, but there's certain things that he sees and he'll tell you, if it was back there and you created this up here, you can't forget about that back there. You got to find a way to get that back there up here. You got to get it from back there up here. So you might have all the Jeep, Red Boy, Rascal, Bolio, but you forgot about the Patrick. You forgot about the Eli. You know, you left out something. So you're not going to have the same type of animal. But due to the kennel partner and mold argument, that's something that they didn't have to argue much about. Because they always took every aspect of a working dog, one that turned out great for us. They always wanted to didn't want to leave nothing behind. And that's why you see a whole lot of that Cunningham popping up, that St. Benedict stuff popping up, because they're going back grabbing what them dogs have to bring up to the front that help incorporate something that we used to have, or what was here now good, but you trying to get back to what you had. And some of the most successful breeders and most successful dogs over the years that I've seen, we've been in this, and I'm pretty sure Mo has been over many, many papers. Y'all have seen enough pedigrees. And he generally tries to have champions and grand champions. And they always talk about, y'all, can y'all see it? Do you see the formula? See, those are the things that lead to great discussions when you're debating breedings and bloodlines. Because a bloodline ain't worth talking about if it ain't doing shit. And that's something that we can agree to disagree all day. But the fact of the matter is, if it ain't doing shit, then why are we talking about it? What makes this dog worthy to talk about? Will we really be talking about Jeep, you know, just because of the Homer situation? Really? No. Will we really be talking about Buck just because of the Sandman situation? Really? No. There had to be a reason outside, and not just they were great match dogs, that we still kept talking about them. Y'all know what the reasoning was. Not only were they great match dogs, they were great producers. That makes them worthy of talking about. Think about all the dogs in history and all the champions and the grand champions that you don't hear nothing about. Don't take nothing away from them. But why do we talk so much about these group of dogs all the time? Why is it just these batch of dogs that we're always talking about? Based on performance, based on ability to reproduce, based on traits, all these certain things. And see, I always felt like, give me a room full of good dog men and let's have this debate. I think it would be one of the most, not only exciting shows, but the most knowledgeable show you could ever have when it comes down to people getting a chance to hear people that's knowledgeable and say, and be able to sit back and make your choice on who represented their case the best. Because regardless of how you look at certain things, Not everybody's going to jump on the one-man bandwagon. Everybody's going to have their opinion and ride with a certain situation. But that's what makes these kind of conversations worthy, and to me, worthy of not only having, but even seeing Mo participate in something like that, because it is, you could get so much knowledge and information from, and different opinions from a group of other dogmen who know what they're talking about, who have these things that they can stand on and present. Because regardless of how each group looks at it, guaranteed if they go back far enough, they're going to always have the same old shit that's way back there, whether it been the Daibo, the Centipede, the Lightner, the Kobe, the Carver. I mean, it's always going to go back there somehow. But what was the key? What made them different? Them kind of guys can always come back and work their way back to the front and tell you this, and this. They lost it there and I bought it back here. Everybody's done something. But what made you different? What made yours different than what everybody else was out there doing? And I always say, you know, a lot of it might have to do with the person, the hands that you put these dogs in. But in order even to put anything out there, you got to have something to put out there. See, for us, you know, being competitors, we wouldn't be shit without the animals. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be nothing to talk about if it don't be for the breeders. And the key was always what? The bloodline. If you were competitive back then, it was always going to be about the bloodline. Because if the dog's worthy of talking about, the dog's showing good, you're going to want to produce. And you have to understand the formula, what created this monster I got right here. Can this monster create what I wanted to create? Well, you weren't the breeder. So your insight has to be that of the breeder who created it to be able to continuously do what he just did. You just can't put it all in the dog. You have to actually go back there and look and see, I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want to leave out nothing. I'm going to pick his brain. I'm going to see what else everybody else out there got out there, what they're doing over there, just to see, because it's always important. The more information you know, you kind of, the better off you are when you come to making your moves. Because it might have a littermate sister over there who just as hot as he is. You know what I mean? If I wanted to tighten up some shit, I'd be looking for that littermate sister over there. Because at that point, if I can get that out of the way, I might not have to leave the yard. As far as anything I'm fixing to do moving forward to enhance what I'm doing. Because I've tightened it up just enough to where now I can do other things with other breedings. Conversation pieces. I'm just throwing the things that you need to have the conversation when it comes time to have the conversation, because you will be able to explain them kind of things. Because you'll be able to say, this is why we did what we did. That's why I always talk, you know, when I hear Mo talk about Sheriff Powell, why he did that brother-sister breeding. And immediately after he did it, why he sent him to PA. Why when he had kept them on the yard? Well, there was no reason for him to keep them on the yard when he got the mother and the father right there on his yard. The thing is, the reason he let them go, because the person he was sending them to was fitting incorporated into something that he was doing, because now he has the tightest of the Hetrick dogs. And here he gets a chance to find out what he can do with it. See, we were a part of that. We understood why he was doing what he was doing. Because why would you send them off? Because even though they were crazy, you know, I seen the dogs. But why would you send them off? But to see how history has shown us, okay, I see why now. I see how them Hetrick dogs became such a big part of what made Tornado who she was. I think one of the reasons why they could never produce more tornadoes like her because they kept forgetting about the Hetrick shit. You take the Hetrick shit out of it, you took the major part of what I think created her. Because you never seen nobody tighten up on the Hetrick shit after, and you have a 10-time winner, double grand champion, female, who really ain't producing shit. Major part missing. Where was the Hetrick shit at? Did anybody ever find anything else where they ever tried to bring the Hetrick shit back in to what they were doing? Because that was such a major part to lead up to who she became. These are one of the things where we talk about, the little things that don't seem like mattered, but they do matter. For us, those little things always mattered. That's why you see my brother, when he sits here and he has these conversations, he be always saying, the Daisy May, the Tater, the Zebo. He always fires them things out there because to you guys it might just be a little dab. But could that dog been what it was without that dab? No. They believe that. Whether it was true or not, who am I to say? I'm not, I'm just saying this was how they did it. They're always stuck on, the littlest things, that worked and didn't want to forget about nothing. Either you was going to enhance what you were doing or you were trying to bring something without losing it. Closer, that was back there, you want to bring it up here because as you're moving forward, you seem like if I keep moving forward this way, I'm going to lose more and more of what created this. So I got to go back and get that little bit and get it up here. So that was one of the biggest issues and the things that they would always find themselves going over because they would always, it would have to be the right dog. Why that dog? Why that dog? Well, he got this much of this. If it was something that was lacking, they're going to try to get as much as it's in that dog, but it's got to come out of a dog that's performing or have something or something reasonable why we got to use that dog. Those are, I call arguments, but then debate is like the easy way of saying you're arguing, but you got good points. Let me see what's going on here right quick here. Big shout out to my man El Diabolito. You know what's up, man. You know what's up. And I'm just speaking from, Mo. Y'all know I don't do what Mo does, but I'm taking the little things that I watch. I read the chats. I follow everybody, so I watch conversations. And as we move forward in this, and everybody's trying to create something new. You're trying to find new ways of doing things. It's kind of hard to understand how you can move forward if you don't have a complete understanding of what you're trying to move forward with. Our purpose might be different than your purpose, but whatever your purpose is, trust and believe. It has to be something that's going to fit the dog. Like I always say, it's hard for me to see us training a pit bull to be a guard dog when the biggest problem with a pit bull is the out. Can I turn him off as fast as I want him to turn off once he gets in full gear? Now you see a lot of these guys to be out there training them, and they get them and they hitting the sleeve and do all that. But have anybody ever seen a real guard dog? Well, I'm gonna say, we've seen pit bulls. We've seen pit bulls that go attack people, and you see people hitting that pit bull with sticks and punching them and all types of shit, and that pit bull doesn't snap out of it. Now that doesn't mean because the pit bull or he's not trained. Well, that's the problem with pit bulls, y'all. Regardless of how much you train him to do whatever you want them to do, it's still a pit bull. And at any given moment, that switch click, right? Because the person, take off all the sleeves and all the normal shit that he used to grabbing on and put a real person there. And somebody really, the real fight is on. And see if you can call him out. Because that real taste of blood, and you're trying to fight and get him off was making him more intense. Can you call him out? That's one of the things that we can never take a chance with being as trainers. We know this. We understand this. I don't care how much my Malinois bite the sleeve and do all that pretty shit, and you can be swinging around and punching them and hitting them, and they get madder and madder. But you know what, fellas? We've had dogs that have attacked people who didn't have on nothing. I tell you, it's a whole different situation. When you got to turn your guard dog loose to protect yourself or your family before you having to shoot somebody. And a guard dog can be just as bad as a gun. Because that person don't have nothing to protect them. That person has to be ready to fight a dog that's trying to hurt them. And I'm going to tell you, I've never seen one of our dogs lose. I've always seen us being able to call them dogs out before they would kill somebody. And I had Apollo, we had Apollo, and Apollo was a throat dog. And we would let him get that deep, and we're able to still call him out. A throat Doberman pincher that will bite you, and you got low enough, he was in your throat, and he knew what to do when he got there, but we could call him out. There's a difference. Why would I take a chance like that with a pit bull who's in a throat and think that he's going to come out and he's got blood and he's been fighting and now he where he want to be at? I don't know. See, to me, that's a debate. I'm going to debate a situation. How can I debate that situation? As a trainer, I can debate that situation. Because we've been training dogs for many, many years. From Rottweilers, to German Shepherds, to Doberman Pinschers, to Malinois, all the way down to Pit Bulls. I've never trained a Pit Bull to bite people. Actually, that is a turn off for me. Because that's something I do not, and I have one that will bite people. But I don't trust her. So I can't trust her, even though she's a good dog. She's still young. But I'm not foolish enough to let people, she doesn't run out and bite people, but what if somebody pets her the wrong way? Or what if she get a bad feeling or somebody step back and scared of her and smacks her? It's a pit bull. I don't know how she's going to react. So I don't trust her. That is a difference compared to when I'm talking about Chaos, the Malinois. Because I already know what he's going to do. I know he has a turn-off switch. But that pit bull doesn't. And I will argue them points. I wouldn't give a damn how well you train them. You never know what it looks like until you actually turn them on something real. Put them in a real situation. And see if you can turn them loose. And see if they'll stop. See, that's a bad way to try to put the point across. But for me, I know what type of dogs we deal with. Y'all know we deal with competitive pit bulls. How do we know? We were competitors. Boxmen. We putting them in there. We let them go. We gonna see what they do. How they gonna be about it or they ain't gonna be about it. Take that same attitude and put it on a guard dog. You have to understand. What would my debate be if I'm telling you pit bulls ain't good? Well, conversation is, well, if the government ain't doing, I ain't seen no police force, I ain't seen no army, no military out here running around with pit bulls. And even for the Marine Corps, our dog is a pit bull. But why? Why did the Marine Corps pick the pit bull? Because you don't, I mean, when you let them go, they're on your ass. There is no control. They're crazy like that. That identify us as a military unit. When you let them go, they're going to be on your ass. They like killing shit. They don't know nothing but to kill. We don't look for them to be smart. All we look for them to be is killers. And we put them away until the next time we want them to kill something. That's why the Marine Corps use it. But you don't see us walking around, MPs and military people, you know, walking around with pit bulls, fellas. It's our mascot and nothing else. We still have the German Shepherds, Malinois. I think, what's the other one? I think it's another name for the Malinois. It's a German, Dutch Shepherds. I believe that's where it is. The Dutch Shepherds. But either way, even there's no militaries that actually walk around that I know of as far as the United States is concerned. I don't know what other countries use. I know South Korea don't use them because I was stationed over there. I was in Okinawa, Japan. They didn't use them over there. So I never known anywhere that they use pit bulls for anything other than pets or fighting dogs. So, but that's like another one of them kind of debates when I'm talking about bloodlines. You know, wait a minute. Is there going to be somebody who can create a bloodline where you can create a great guard dog? It's possible. But imagine how many years you got to be able to breed a American pit bull. And how do you breed American pit bull to take that prey aggression down to a level to where you can control that prey drive on a human being? How do you put that to the test? I mean, how would you put it to the test? You know, it's kind of one of them things where you're in mad trouble if it ever go wrong. Y'all ever see the video of a police dog that don't have an out and gets so crazy that it even start fighting a handler? Those are the type of situations I'm talking about. This is supposed to be a well-trained police dog. This is a dog riding around with this man in this car all the time, but the minute that dog tastes blood and he's in a real fight, that you can't call him out and you can't even get him out, to the point that because you're trying to get him out, he attacks you. That, to me, that's through lack of training. Now imagine that same type of animal, that same type of mistake due to lack of training with a pit bull to go in like that. And you can't get him out. And you ain't walking around with a breaking stick. See, even the police don't even have nothing but a leash, and all they can depend on in trying to get the dog out is screaming and hagging and then trying to pull the leash. The way you even grabbing it, the dog is done start biting you. What in the hell you gonna do with a pit bull that it just ain't in there biting? It's really trying to snatch some shit, break some shit, kill some shit, and will kill you. Those aren't the type of dogs I always, and I see, that would be my arguing point. As a trainer, as a person who understands training of different animals, different traits that these different animals have, what makes these certain animals successful based on their breeding, the type of dog it is, and their ability to do the job that you want them to do as far as performance. I'm a believer in people moving forward, trying to find a new way with these bulldogs. My debate when it comes down to the bloodline is, if we're going to have a red boy Jeep Rascal, world champion wall climber. Because where every dog can climb 18 to 20 feet, and if it's a pit bull, how many people are going to want to breathe to that pit bull if that dog can go up a wall 18, 20 feet? Literally climb up a wall 18 and 20 feet. Imagine how popular that dog would be. That would be a whole new bloodline as far as name-wise. It'd be, how's it bred? Red Jeep, Red Boy Rascal. But it could be the kennel name would blow up. Because he could create a whole line of just great wall climbing dogs. Same thing with the treadmill racing. Same thing with the weight pool. See, those, I haven't seen them type of dogs yet. And that would be my debate. I hear you. I can talk about box dogs. Because y'all can talk about box dogs too, but guess what? One thing we can always relate back to is our history. You can't talk about your future without talking about the history. And if your knowledge don't take you back but so far, that's going to be a short conversation. Because you have to have something to stand on, to debate, to argue a point. Because the knowledge and your history is what makes you more susceptible to be a great creator of great things. Because you understand what you're doing. You understand the formula, and you have an ideal and experience and the training to get these certain things to excel based on what you are doing. All that comes with total experience and knowledge. And when you perfect it, will bring people to you. That's why we still talk about the tutors, the Lightners, the Kobe's. Why are we talking about them after all the many years? Because if it don't be for them, we wouldn't have shit to be talking about any damn way. That should show you, that's my argument right there. If they wasn't shit, we wouldn't be talking about them. Y'all so quick to be, why are we talking about all that? Because you can't get away from them, because you can grab any pedigree. And you can argue that pedigree, and I can argue this pedigree, but guess what? Sooner or later, we're going to wind up back there. Mine might be better than yours. Why? Because I have something to stand on. I can show you I was consistent to doing this and doing this. I did exactly what they did. I bought some of this, and I did this right here, and I did this right here. I got grand champion so-and-so. That grand champion so-and-so was able to produce this, and this. What did I do different? I kept what I started out with, and I added a little bit of this because I lost that back here. So I needed to bring that back here, bring it up here, which meant I still kept this and kept that. You got to be able to say that and do the same thing. But we can't do that without going back there. Imagine y'all trying to go from now and go, what, 10 years back? What 10 years back going to bring you back to? All it's going to do is bring you closer back to where the shit started at anyway. How you going to not get back there 10 years, 20 years from now and still not run into the same people? Because remember 20 years ago what I was running into. Remember, I still had Snooty Molly B dogs. I was still around when Molly B was alive. I seen her. Snooty had just died. But think about all the dogs that we were able to see. That to y'all, these dogs are long gone. But I've seen and dealt with a whole bunch of these dogs. And you just now getting into dogs. Or you've been in dogs 5 years. How much conversation you think you're going to have? If you haven't seen what we've seen or done what we've done. Because you're still dealing with a pit bull. Where's your argument going to be? My thing is, when you agree to disagree, it's okay for me because everybody has an opinion. But I'm a true believer in, if you're going to debate a situation, be up for the challenge. Because in any debate, you better have something to stand on, and it ain't just talk. Talk don't get you nowhere. You better have some facts. Because one thing history is going to give you is facts. And that is what I would like to see more of moving forward, dealing with these dogs, because it's more than just taking two dogs, backing them up to each other. Fellas, y'all have said y'all don't need papers, y'all don't need nothing. It's just back them up to each other. To me, that's what you call gambling. Now, you know, if you're a gambler, most of the time, unless you done, you know, marked the cards or you done loaded the dice, if you're on an even playing field, you don't know how them damn dice fit in the roll. You don't know how them cards fit in the fall. You are taking a chance. And some people just have more cojones than others to take them chances. Some people learn ways of how to let them dice fall out their hands, or how to set them up and roll them a certain type of way where they can do that roll. I've seen them do all kinds of crazy shit. But I've also seen them lose. They weren't never guaranteed. Hell, you can't even walk in the casino. The first minute they notice you counting cards, they gonna kick your ass out. And you would think the casino, who's supposed to be able to, big bank take little bank, they're not gonna let you keep little bank coming and take big bank based on something that they know that you are either counting cards or you are in cahoots with the dealer. Because the fact is, they're supposed to always win. Now, backing two dogs up to each other never was something that we got into. It was always a science behind it. If you're not using papers and you're just doing it to be doing it, hey, make me a believer and show me how that shit's working out for you. Because you can talk about it all day, but the fact is, how could you argue with me? Well, it's easy to argue with me because I don't really know shit. But how would you be able to argue with a person like Mo, who knows his shit, based on two dogs that you just backed up each other and don't have nothing else to show for it? Or even why. You don't have no papers. You just know you got it from so-and-so, and now you got to speak for somebody else. See, that's to me, that's a useless debate. That to me actually is a useless argument. And I actually see people actually try to argue those points. See, I come from an era that arguments generally, they led to us seeing each other. You over in that corner, I'm over in this corner, and when it's all said and done, I can still shake your hand and still show you love, and we're going to have our answer when it's all said and done. Now, is that a gamble? Yeah, it's a gamble. Those, what it was, you're gambling. I don't know, what he bringing or what he doing, and nothing else. All I know, regardless of what you got over there, meet me over there and we're gonna find out. That's just like rolling the dice. But see, we try to have loaded dice. We bred good. We train good. We condition good. We've bought the right fucking animal. So we coming in with loaded dice. And most of the time, gentlemen, I'm trying to explain to you, and I think Mo does it all the time. Look at the people he hung around with. Look at the people we were out there running with. 95% of the time they were winning. You can even read them in the books that when people beat them, they talk big, congratulations for even giving them the chance. It's good to beat somebody out there that's up here. Much respect. When we beat the Legion of Doom, man, I had so much respect for the men for, first of all, even giving us the opportunity. Missing Link, much love for them. Just for giving us the opportunity. The Latin Boys, much love. Just for giving us the opportunity to go in. So many Kennels out there that just because you gave us the opportunity, because even then we still ain't on their level. We're working our way up there because we coming up through there and we get an opportunity to get in there and really put them to the test. But at that time, we were already dealing with the right animals. So we can tell you based on our experience why we always felt that everybody who around us were using loaded dice. It really wasn't a gamble for us. We can't win all of them, but we're looking to win the majority of them. And yes, it would be a shock to lose, but that's okay. I've never known anybody who be perfect. There has been people who have great records. I mean, I think we had a great record. We really only have 7 losses under our belt and over 40 plus wins. And that's nothing compared to everybody else who had. Woo, look at all the ones that they had. I mean, that 40 ain't nothing compared to some people with 80 and 90, have 20, 30 years of matching dogs. I mean, we had to build a yard. Look all the years it took us to actually build a yard to even get out there. So there's a lot that goes with it. But then that history that I share with you, that conversation I'm sharing with you, always going to come back to what it would look like if I had a room full of dog men who had these great yards and these great dogs, and each one of us used different bloodlines to create their dogs. Like Eminem, to me, they had their own dogs. Stone City, their own. Hardcore, Mile Mile. There's a couple of them out there. I would say Tony Wade because he, and a couple of them that had this, even Fat Bill. They just had their certain dogs that they stuck and they rolled with. Even the Legion. I mean, I've had a couple. Just imagine them in rooms and all their great dogs that they were able to create and listen to their conversation. Because now we having knowledge, experience, and a history coming together, and to our audience, we're trying to stand up for our bloodlines, our creations. What makes mine able to do the things it was able to do? Because you can't, it's hard to always go back and say that we would be in there arguing about my dog is better than your dog, because we used to be able to take care of my dog being better than your dog. Them dogs gonna see each other. But I'm talking about dog man based on bloodlines. Like a lot of people say Zebo wasn't shit, when it came down to breeding. I don't know where that came from. But sometimes I'll be glad that people miss out on that. Really. Because I think we did a show on that just to prove. I don't know where y'all got that from, but Zebo could throw. just had to put it in the right place. The right people had to be doing the right thing. We seen that. We were able to bring that from way back there and try to keep it. Every paper that Mo pull up, he's gonna always say, "You remember I always told y'all about that Zebo?" He would go back there and show you. There it go, right there. Or that tater. You go back there. The tater. It's right there. Or that Daisy May. It's right there. Or that Bolio. It's right there. He would always show you. I don't know if people be picking up on that. But that kind of shit really does matter. He didn't just create that. Imagine a person who just grew up around that and that is just the way it was. You can't change the ingredient of something and think you're going to get the same result. He says that all the time. But yet I still see people backing dogs up to each other and then arguing based on trying to explain how that shit's supposed to work. Why? I don't understand where the why, why argue that point when there's nothing there to argue about? You won't know anything about what you just done. You have years to try to figure that out. Not only it's got to turn out to be something worthy to talk about, but then it's got to be even more than that because guess what? It's got to be able to first be something and be worthy to produce what it is. And remember, a lot of people don't even get by stage one. And it has been years since we've been out. And they still was doing the same bullshit way back then. How many times I done pulled these books up and showed you things that people said, the same arguments that y'all had today, they was having way back in 1958. I went from 58 to 60 to 70 to 80 to the 90s into the 2000s, showing y'all the same things that y'all say today. We were having all the way, they were having them same conversations way back then. And everybody was talking shit on the newcomers. Everybody. In all of them decades, everybody was talking shit about what's the game going to look like. Well, we're at that point of the game where we're trying to figure out what the game going to look like. Because the conversation still ain't going to change. The difference is, what does the game and the dogs look like moving forward? See, the underground is always going to be the underground, period. But see, we're doing so much when if you're trying to bring a good light to these dogs, guard training them ain't that light. It's not. If it's anything, it's going to be the quickest way to get them banded. Because not everybody's a great trainer. Why do you think these dogs are being out here biting people and chasing people up just down the street and mauling people? Because that dog came out of somebody's yard and somebody was foolish enough to have that dog running around in the yard without a chain or some type of control on that dog. That's an irresponsible owner. How many of them we going to have out here? Especially when you think you can turn a damn pit bull into a guard dog. That is danger. That's the wrong direction for them. Wall climbing, treadmill racing, all of that. I am a fan of that. I promote all of that if you are doing the right things to go into that type of market. You ever been to a dog show? American Pit Bull Terrier dog show. It is evident to you that these dogs still have that prey drive. Nobody's turning their pit bull loose at an American Pit Bull dog show. Nobody. Do you know what it would look like if we had pit bulls that we could just turn loose at a confirmation show? You imagine what that would look like? I mean, just let one loose and see if it don't be some type of something. Or because to me, even in them type of situations, you just understand I can't let my dog be close. Yeah, I want him to sit up there and stand up and do this little thing. I want him doing all that. I want the judge to see that I got an American Pit Bull Terrier and this motherfucker here is just what I said it is. This is a badass motherfucker right here. There's all the traits, everything. Only thing missing is me letting her ass go. Only thing missing. You're gonna see everything in her body, everything about her. She's that real deal. That's the way I look at them. There's nothing wrong with that. They judge based on that. A lot of them. Now, just being able to turn one loose and run up a wall or the trip, that's the area that I don't think we put enough. It's just not enough of it going on. To where we can have it to where it becomes very, very popular. To where you're going to have certain dogs come out of it and be judged and given the due respect that they're given. I mean, I like the fact that Victor took a chance and went out there and did confirmation shows with a beautiful dog like Mayday and win. Beautiful dog. But you can best believe when that beautiful dog was in them confirmation shows and he was showing his ass, big and as pretty as he was going to win. But don't ever underestimate, because his box record proved that he is a bad-ass dog. My thing is, you don't have to put him in the box. It's okay. It's okay. But when we're talking about moving forward, bloodlines. I mean, the bloodlines at some point got to change, gentlemen. Why are the bloodlines going to change? Because the dog's supposed to be changing. Why do you think we can't get away from Red Boy, Bolio, Jeep, Rascal? But I can prove a point. It has been done. Because we can straight say, when we're talking about bloodlines, I hear a lot of people be talking about Mayday. That's a bloodline. Regardless of what made him up, that is a proven point. Mayday. Talk about Buck. There's another name change. We're not talking about what made Buck. We're talking about Buck. We're talking about Jeep. We talk about Rascal. Mayday to me is a more recent run. Recent one. I hear about the Corolla dogs. Recent. I need a lot more of that. Because there's a change. Because at some point, the name's going to change, but the dog is still going to be an American Pit Bull Terrier. The argument, the debate, is where all the knowledge is going to come from based on the history. Because can't nobody know and see what's going to in the future. Remember, I did that show when I went and told you what a man said back in 1992, 93. It was that interview with Victor. And what he had out there was Mayday was a grand champion. The only two dogs that he could talk about at the time was grand champion Luke Kane and champion the Brat. And he was hoping that, the only two out there on the market, and what he would hope the future would bring moving forward. That was just giving y'all an insight of what a man with such a great dog was thinking prior to that other shit that came afterwards ever happened. So that tells you it can happen. That was the purpose of me bringing that up, because this man with such a great dog who had no idea what the future of this dog was going to look like. At all. Now we can argue his point, because one thing he didn't know back then that we know now, that was a great dog. Regardless of how many of y'all don't like it, What's the facts? What did history show you? And what you need to do to argue that point is be able to do exactly and show and stand on exactly what that man didn't know back in 1993, that where we can still talk about that same damn dog and what he's done in 2024. That's a good debate, because what other bloodline you going to put up against that? What other dog are you willing to put up against that? Give me a bunch of dog men, and I guarantee you there's a whole bunch of dog men who could and have great points. And then that's where, and so much great information to come out of there, because it's so much that we don't know that need to be known. And that's why it's important. You don't have a lot of dog men out here doing what we're doing on this show. I wish we did. You've heard a lot of the great ones that we had come through there. These were great dog men in my book. All of them could stand up here and you couldn't hold a candle to them. We can't hold a candle to them. Look at all of them. We could get in there and have these conversations based on their knowledge and their experience and the things that they have created and done. And all of us done things our own different way and have a great debate, because we have a lot to talk about. Y'all have heard us in Schoolboy and Rastaman and Bakary and Eminem and Black Ice and come on, I don't want to go on through all the names. Mom, just look at all the shows and things that you've heard and seen. That's the past. Imagine all of us in the room and everybody is just sitting there. We have an audience and they get a chance to just actually do what we do and pull up the pedigrees and show the shit that they did and talk about the shit that they did and how that shit's still going on to 2024. How many able to do that? I know some of them could. I know they could. Need a platform to do it on, because I think that's where you're going to get all your knowledge. That's where I think all the enthusiasm for all the young guys and the new guys that you're trying to have these dogs, but you're not helping them. You're not helping the progression of what you call doing the right thing by the dogs. Because the right thing, to me, will lead to the wrong thing. Because the dog wasn't meant to be that dog. That dog was meant to be that dog, we would be able to cut them dogs loose at a confirmation show. Wasn't meant to be that dog. Why do you think we don't? Because we're not trying to change that part of them. Did that ever cross anybody's mind? That's just the reality of the American Pit Bull Terrier. If you want to argue about something, debate something, let's debate that. Because I'm going to be on the side of, you're not going to change a dog that was bred for a certain purpose. It's not going to happen and still be an American Pit Bull Terrier. And I will have a room full on my side. I just want to know what the hell the other side can bring that would even have something to argue about. How's that going to work? I mean, what do you have to stand on? What do you have to show that would argue against this point? I prefer to do with all these guys here and just argue about the bloodlines. Because all of us did it our own different type of way. All of us is running something totally different. We copycatted off of a lot of people to create our own. And never shy away from saying that, and always give the utmost respect to all of them, because without them, it would have never been us. We stand on that. We show homage and always hope as we do this and y'all understand regardless of what you do, always try to pay it forward and show homage to the people who helped you get to where you come from. Because without those guys back there, how in the hell would it ever be us any damn way? And if it don't be for the people who turned them on and put things in their hand and did them things for them, who the hell would they be if they couldn't show homage to the people who did it for them? Have y'all noticed this has been a trend over the years and years and years and years and years? And the thing is, none of us really had the ability to have this new thing called social media. None of them. Not even us. I mean, we had a web page. We were something new. I think we were one of the very first ones that had a web page. And everybody thought that was crazy. And it was called The Yard. But hell, they had the journal. We were computer literate. Why not? And believe it or not, the webpage blew up. So a lot of people say they didn't know about Going Hard, but Going Hard was out there a while and everybody knew about the webpage. I think once we, the raid and everything happened, we just shut it down. Because again, when that happened, all ties and everybody done. Don't have to call. Don't worry about how we doing. Don't check on nothing because conversation's over because you don't know what them people doing. There's no need to be bringing people into a situation when it ain't y'all. It ain't y'all to deal with. It's on us to deal with. That's what we meant by that. All communications stopped. Everything. That's maybe why we didn't have anybody sitting on the stand. Remember, we went to trial without a defense. Didn't need one. Except for everything that they're saying, there's no proof. So, debating those issues, you want to debate that issue? Yeah, we can debate that issue too. No, when it comes to these pit bulls, I'll be stuck on the bloodlines because, it's something that I used to see at a lot of the barbecues and even at the pig picking that we went to, it was so much back and forth and things, and then you notice and look at the guys who actually talking. Most of them were kind of new. Some didn't even know some of the greats that were actually there, so I would just be bugging out because I'm looking at, do you really know who you're talking to? You know who that is? No, who is it, twin? And I tell them, oh, you know what you just said? I bet you got some of this dogs in your shit. How you gonna be telling the man that you got his shit in your shit? He don't know what he doing, but you got his shit in your shit? That type of shit. But it's funny because this is what the not knowing does. That's why I always felt it was important to know any and everything. See, there's nothing about a lot of the guys that we actually dealt with that we couldn't talk about because we knew them. We didn't just know them by a phone call. We knew them because we really knew them. Conversations. Many conversations. How else are we going to get the knowledge? You got to be in a position to be able to have the rapport for them to even want to give you anything. Coming out of Carolina, James Edwards just giving you dogs. Old man Triplet. Old man Mr. Jackson. Bring that dog on over here. See if what he really about. Well, this dog right here, Lopaz's Buster. You damn right we finna take him over there. We don't know who the hell Lopaz's Buster is. But then you got all the right people telling you, going over there. This is what I want you to do. 3 weeks from now, just do this, do that. Don't make him get fat. Have him swimming in the Neuse River, taking them walks. The city was but so big so we could, actually walk around the city 3-4 times a piece You know what I mean? Had him in good shape. You know, remember, even with doing that, Bruiser still went an hour 30. But that, who knew conditioning at that point in time? But just to have an opportunity to do that type of shit. And I always did say, if we knew what we knew then, when we were winning down there, would they have put those in the journal? Because we didn't know nothing about the journal. But I'm pretty sure James and Kimsey and Powell, I bet you they knew. But remember, I can talk about 8 wins that we won in the Carolinas. That did they ever report them as losses? And who was the dogs that we was actually beating? I know the Kennels now, but I didn't know that they were, like that back then. They was just guys with bulldogs. So understanding where I be coming from based on the history and why we can sit here and talk about the things we talk about and actually debate a lot of issues. Because in order to be able to get guys to understand and have a different outlook and a different opinion, you got to have the right people to have the right type of argument. You're arguing, and I will say arguing because to me debating is arguments, controlled arguments. We argue in courts. They don't literally argue, but what is our argument? It's back and forth. But it's controlled. Debating is controlled argument. Not everybody's on the same page. How do you win a debate? To me, the audience picks the win and it's all based on opinions. But the thing is, in the end of any debate, you're always going to have to agree to disagree. And that's okay. The thing is, what did you learn from the debate, the argument? What did you get out of it? What did you hear? What did you like? That is my biggest thing about wanting to see all this great dog man have that argument. To help you guys understand what it feels like to have all these different opinions and everybody willing to agree to disagree, but everybody will stand 10 toes down on their points and be right based on their own experience. And that's okay. That's what the joy and the whole point of what made this game so successful all these years, gentlemen. Because when it got too big, guess what? All we had to do was give them the weight and the time and the date, and it was on and popping. And there's years and years and years and years of that. But y'all want to try something new. Well, you got a long way to go. And I always stop at them confirmation shows. I have yet to go to a confirmation show and seen anybody turn the goddamn pit bull loose running around. So that means I'm still in the good. A pit bull is going to act like that because it was bred to be that. How y'all gonna breed that out of it? I want to see. Because when it stopped doing that, it cannot be a pit bull. I don't give a damn what y'all say. And stand on that 10 toes down. And you can prove it by just going to a confirmation show and cutting him loose. And tell me, is he going to be the only one that can walk around here like this? Because I guarantee if you get too close to that motherfucker over there, and that one over there, and that one over there, and that one over there, they finna snatch his head off. What you bet? They know when the hell you're going to tell me I'm out here with 20 damn dogs, and all of them can we walk around here with no leashes, free to go, and ain't nobody doing nothing? The minute I see that, the minute I will ride with everything that y'all say that it's possible. It's possible. I still cringe when I see 3 or 4 pit bulls hanging out, grown pit bulls hanging out together. I cringe because the pit bull is still a pack animal. It's a dog. One of them 3 dogs is an alpha, and if anybody do anything crazy, them other 2 gonna react just like that alpha is, and somebody's gonna be in a world of shit. And they're uncontrollable. There's no leashes. Yeah, I remember about the man that got killed over there. I can't remember where. Out there in the backyard, and couldn't nobody save him. It only took one to start. Now, before you know it, all of them was eating his ass up, killed the man. It only took one to get him started. And there's a couple cases like that. It only takes one to get them started. See, these are still pack animals. In every dog world, there's always going to be an alpha. When we train our dog, guess what? We are the alphas. We're going to make sure that these dogs understand that I am that dog. I run this show. You bow to me. When I yell, you bow. You look down. You look away. You have to control a pack animal. Now, I don't know how people think, twin, y'all be too serious. Damn right. Be very serious. This dog on this side, he's trained to kill you. This one on this side, he's not. I don't want him doing what this is doing. This is bred to do this over here. This ain't bred for this shit over here. He's dead bred for a whole new different purpose. I want to keep them 2 things separate. That's my reality check. That's my argument. That's where the knowledge is going to come from. If you want to have that conversation with you, I'm not just talking. I can show you. See, we don't have the time to sit down and do the videos and show you how my pit bull lives on an everyday basis. If I was to show you how my pit bull lived on an everyday basis, a lot of y'all would just be bugging out. Because she is so smart. Very smart. But she's a pit bull. Look how she's bred. You think I'm going to act like just because she's smart and she's so lovable? You see this little thing on my hand? See that right there? See those marks right there? See all that right there? I'm healing from her grabbing me. She's lucky she ain't dead. But why is she still here? Because I can break her of that. I'm going to break her of that. Because if I can't, she won't be around here no more. But these are the things that can happen even to people like me. I am the only being as real as I possibly can because I try to understand what this now moving forward going to look like. I'm trying to understand what this bloodline shit's going to look like. Is the bloodline name going to change when we get that, 18, 19-foot wall climber? Or where we can change the name of a certain bloodline based on that wall climber or that treadmill racer or that weight pulling dog? Because they do it with horses. They used to do it with greyhounds. I think we had some of the best bred Rottweilers, and they were bred in Germany. We had some German bred German Shepherds that we wound up, 3 of them turned out to be great police dogs, retired from the police force. So there's a lot of things that we have been able to see and do over the many years with different breeds of dogs. But gentlemen, we never got away from each one of their purposes. This is an American Pit Bull Terrier community that I'm talking to. And I think information is the key to your success. Understanding things we talk about. First, let me teach you the history. Let me get you on the inside of how they think and what they think. Let me show you the reality, because the only reason we here to be real with you. There is no reason to be lying about anything that we've done in our past. Nothing. We openly admit it in front of a camera. Does that make us stupid? No. Actually, gentlemen, we got to pay it forward. Nobody else does it, but I'm not going to ever let you guys forget about them guys back there. Because if it don't be for them guys back there, it wouldn't be nothing for us to talk about. And then my proteges get their chance when it comes down to whenever they decided they're going to show you just as much history that they got for their own selves. And we try to leave that for them. That hopefully one day they'll be sitting up there talking about us like we talked about them guys. Because you got to always pass it forward. That's our belief. That is how we feel. We ain't speaking for everybody. We speaking for ourselves. So I'm just trying to tell you, there is a reason why we do what we do. And it's not for the money. It's not for the fame. It's that these guys ain't in books. Nobody's telling their story. They're not Ed Crenshaws. They're not Stratton. You know, they're not Velvet and Steel. They're not Ed Farron. They're not writing books. They're not California Jacks. They're not writing their story. So if we don't tell you their story, does that mean y'all gonna forget them? You can't forget them. We won't let you forget them. And for everybody who stand up and want to talk that shit, I can bring up all they shit and Mo will bum rush you and he will show you these were some bad asses and the game did know who they were. Fact. Reality. Don't have to pump up shit. If you don't know who they was, that means you wasn't in the game. But just to show you how other people was in the game who talk about them, just read some of their stories. Read how they felt when they were able to knock off Eminem after 18 straight wins in a row. They got in there with that metalhead dog and knocked off a great one. That was just one of 18. But how do you think they felt being able to knock off that? Just to have that one notch under your belt. Why would you want to forget them kind of people? Because those are the people we learned from. Those are the people who made us better dogmen, where we had something to talk about. This is how we pass it forward. What y'all do when you moving forward with it, just like my proteges. Hey, when they took that on that shit and they created, man, there's so much great shit to come up out of them boys, man. We haven't even touched the tip of the straw when it come down to what they've actually done. And it goes on and on and on. So when people talk about where they're going hard dogs at, well, we need that for, we try not to get into that mode, just give y'all a touch of just little bits, because they're not ready to tell their story. But guess what? They do have a story. And that one day when that story needs to be told, I'm pretty sure they're not going to let y'all forget about us. Because they have a history. And they have no reason to lie or bullshit or fake the funk. They're going to be just as truthful and honest when it comes down to telling their story, because they don't have no reason to tell you anything different, because they lived their own life. They can tell you from starting at nothing and tell you how they became who they are. And I'm a true believer in legends make legends, because to me, they should be considered just as high as us, because guess what? History is going to prove their point without us having to do it for them. So believe me when I tell you, the only reason y'all don't know, because y'all don't know how to look. Y'all don't know where to start to look. But the fact is, I know them. And it's not my story to tell, it's their story. But when might be the day come that before we get up out of here, they're going to let us tell their story and they're going to be able to pick up where we left off at. Because they have a whole new way of taking off and being able to take it from here when we walk away. Because they have just as much knowledge and experience to be able to sit down and do the exact same thing that we done and feel proud of themselves. And I speak highly of them, even the ones that's dead, like Jamie. Cheryl Powell's gone. Pope's gone. You know, pretty soon we be gone. But our story don't stop here. Their story does not stop in death. They're just as important as the Floyd Boudreaux's, Maurice Carver's, the Earl Tudors. To me. So, please understand, when I speak of debating of bloodlines, I speak of debating in a whole new different aspect of how we arguing about shit that ain't worthy of arguing about. Why would I argue about something that has nothing to stand on? You have no proof. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I can show you people why I stand on 10 toes down on their shit, because guess what? I can show you why I show homage to these people. And if you notice, you never hear us talk about too many people who didn't do dogs. Dogmen who opened up their doors and shared their information and shared their dogs and shared their knowledge with us to help us become who we became. I'm pretty sure if you do your history, there was a whole lot of that going on. How do you think a lot of these guys learned the things that they learned as they grew throughout the game? That's not old. That's just always been a part of the game. I'm not trying to change the game. I'm trying to get y'all to understand where success comes from, where successful breeding comes from, where successful raising of these dogs come from, the proper way to raise them, the proper way to take care of them, the proper way to feed them, the proper way to do to maintain the yards. I mean, everything it takes to be able to maintain and stay out of trouble with these American Pit Bull Terriers. Because one damn thing for sure, I truly understand and going to always believe the American Pit Bull Terrier was bred for a purpose, and in order to be an American Pit Bull Terrier, it's got to be able to do the things that the purpose of the breeding was meant to do. We might try to find all the different ways to get away from that, but the fact is, it's still going to be an American Pit Bull Terrier. And what is in it is going to be in it. I feel that the same way about my Doberman Pinschers, my Rottweilers, my German Shepherds, and my Malinois. I mean, all that shit. It is what it is. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Because be responsible for these dogs because you accept the fact of what it is. And you keep it like that. You respect it for what it is. An American Pit Bull Terrier. Me, myself, I've accepted that fact. And that's not to take anything away from anybody out there trying all the different things. It's okay. That is not my point. My point is understanding what it is and accepting it for what it is. You can't argue with me about what the fuck it is. That's a dead argument. What you're trying to do with what it is, that's your business. That's not what I'm knocking. I just don't think there is an argument based off of what it is. It is an American Pit Bull Terrier that was bred for a certain purpose. And based on that purpose is why we call it the American Pit Bull Terrier. Accept it. And that's where I'm at with that. That's why just backing dogs up with no purpose. In order for it to be worthy of being anything to speak about, it has to have a purpose. And whatever that purpose is, out of backing shit up to each other, only time will tell. But don't get mad because it ain't nothing there. You know how many years have gone when a lot of people have been breeding these damn dogs, don't have nothing to speak on and nothing to show for all them years of dealing with these goddamn dogs? You know how many of those is out there? There's so many that you don't know about. It's not our fault that we don't know about them. This is a big community. But don't tell me this community is so big that somebody don't know nothing about none of them. That's why I be thinking, you know, I mean, sometimes when I hear people be like, they ain't know nothing about us. Well, then, I mean, that's okay, though. I guarantee you, you do your research, you ain't going to, that's not going to last long. That don't last long. Because anybody that was out there, you know, just anybody, you know, even if they didn't know us personally, there wasn't too many twins hanging out like that and getting around like that other than us. And we did travel a lot. We've seen a lot. So that part we stand on. But in the same token, that's why we can tell you the things that we've seen, the things that we've learned, the things that I feel like will help even the new guys, even the ones that's only been in there 5 and 6 years. These years are very, very precious when it comes down to these dogs, especially if you feel like you have a purpose. I mean, after 5, 6 years, I think the first dog on your yard and you done had it 5 or 6 years, that means you should be having a breeding program and your purpose and your foundation should already be set. Or you just breeding a bunch of bullshit because, again, at 5 years old, 6 years old, I mean, got to be something coming behind it, or that is just a pet. Because if you just breeding it just because of what the papers say, but you know, I'm trying to figure out how that works. Never been one for just breeding papers. Now, if that same dog happens to run 16 feet up a wall, and that's what you're striving for because you've trained it to do that, that dog is a prospect. Because whatever that dog got in it to just run these 16, 17 feet, hell, one of his offspring might be the one to break the world record, and then everybody's going to know that dog, and everybody's going to know the damn dog that created that dog. And everything coming down off that dog after that break that world record for a pit bull running up that wall, everybody's going to know that dog. And they're not going to be breeding on the paper based on the papers. They're going to be breeding on the dog based on just for what the fuck he done. That's the dog they hold the world record for pit bulls of running up the damn wall. That's worthy of something to goddamn it talk about. Because that's how far this game has to move when you start talking that kind of shit. And I ain't seeing nobody doing that just yet. Not saying it can't happen, but I'm just saying that's what it's going to take. Now, I didn't mean to be here this long, and I really wanted to get in here and get out of here. But I'm hoping everybody hitting that like button. Before I get out of here, let me get on here and see if there's anything that I missed. Hey, first of all, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who showed up tonight, because I know, you know, for them, everybody's out there trying to get on that debate set, and I know I was mentioning. I wanted to give a big shout out to my man Rudy Kennels in the house. Appreciate you, fam. You know, I see you, but you know, I got you hooked up, fam. I'm sorry I was talking and I missed that, but I'm gonna always take care of you, fam. Big shout out to my man Self-Made Kennels. I see you, fam. Erica Henry, what up, fam? That's real fam right there, y'all. Just let y'all know. Big shout out to Mr. Derek Lockett. Big shout out to my man, Marcel Shepard. Marcel, you know what I'm talking about, man. You know what I'm talking about, Marcel. You know what I'm talking about, Marcel. Big shout out to my man, Styles Kennels. What up, Styles? Now I give shout outs to people like, you know, Marcel, because he puts in work, man. You know, I feel, how do you say? I feel enthusiastic about what he could possibly be able to do once things start picking up. Because he'll be so far ahead, because I think he understands what he wants. And he puts in the work. Now all he needs is the platform. That's why y'all hear me talk about you need to create a bigger platform. You need to get out there and make something happen. So that platform will be established and is set in stone. And now you want to be the best of what you're doing on that platform. That's where shit's going to change at. And I mean, I got all my big shout out to Marcel because he puts in that work. And he knows exactly what I'm saying. Let me see who else I got out here. But y'all, you know, I don't mean to tie y'all up for the night. Like I said, I wasn't trying to be here all night. It's 10:30. I was actually trying to go just to 10, but I didn't have nobody watching the clock for me. So I got tied up in what I was doing. Let me see. I want to give a big shout out to Inglewood Kennels in the house. What up, fam? Yo, Jay, I see you, fam. I think I hit my man John Denbury. Just in case I missed you the first time, I see you again, fam. Another big shout out to my man, El Diabolito. My man. You need to check out his website on YouTube. Just see the name. Put it in there. Check him out. Funny character. Funny guy. I think he's from Ohio. I'm just pretty sure from Ohio. You know, I'm always going to represent Ohio people. Big shout out because he supports me. I'm going to make sure I support you too, fam. Talking to City Kennels. I see you, fam. Cool Bean, 1, 2, 3. What up, fam? Yo, K-Walk. I see you, fam. Scratch Line News. What up, fam? That's real fam right there. Big shout out to Milestone. I think I got Bulldog Jones. What up, baby? Make sure I just got everybody, man. 517 Seek. I see you, fam. But look, fellas, I appreciate everybody for showing up tonight. You know, again, I'm trying to see what this debate looking like. And then it's Tuesday night. But hey, feel me what I'm saying, see where I'm coming from. Like I said, one day, you know, with all the channels, it would be something nice that we all get together. I seen somebody else came up with that idea. But then just got to have a format to where we can get them all in there and everybody will be able to present their case. We have us a good moderator. I'm telling you, man, that would be a show to remember. Now, I'm pretty well set up around here where I could pull it off. It just takes me a little bit because I know everybody is using, I know I use Streamlab, but I have where I can change from different screens. I think, what's that other one? I don't know what that other one is with the duck on it, but that one right there, where you can have everybody on there. But my thing is to have a debate, you want people to be able to argue their points and then pop up, you know, it's got to be coordinated where they got control over their own pedigrees and their own dogs and their own experiences. And then be able to chime in, give them that 5 minutes to run there and show their point why they shit. And then be able to go back and forth with somebody else on the panel based on ways things were done and how they did and why they did what they did. And you use this. You know how debates go back and forth. You know, you got to be able to chime in. And with the right moderator who have an understanding of the kennels that's involved, you can damn near, you know, it's not hard when you got the right kennels involved to be able to put shit together. You know what I'm saying? and be able to ask the right kind of questions, be able to talk about certain wins or certain losses and what things like that. When this great, this to me would just blow up. Guarantee you it. It's just something that I always felt like we need something like that to really solidify. Put that nail in the coffin. Where anybody ever want to go back and see something worthy of seeing, that would be something worthy of seeing. And it don't, it could be, not at all in one show, different parts. Just these certain kennels match up, and then next week we have these certain kennels, and then in the whole time, it's not about who wins the debate, but the matchups. Because what you had on this matchup over here and in this matchup over here, you could always come back and switch those matchups around, because at that point you're going to get a lot of history, and with those matchups you're going to have some people using the same bloodlines, and actually went different ways. You got the Boyles brand, and then you got the Boyles breed. You know what I'm saying? Two different type of Boyles dogs. Wouldn't it be nice to see who used the brand and who used the breed? Who had the most success? What was the difference between the brand and the breed? Those to me are great conversations, because you can go back and not just hear people talk about it, but use history to tell you where the argument and the debate comes from. Which was better, the Boyles brand or the Boyles breed? That's a hell of an argument when you got the two people who are known to have these great dogs, and they can tell you better than anybody can tell you. And go back and forth with it. So these are the things that I think are educational. And if you like to hear arguments, those are great arguments. And those arguments, in my book, are considered debates. You're debating for a purpose, but you're trying to argue your point. So, being I'm here alone and everything, my hands ain't too long. Let me give a big shout out to my man Leatherman in the house. What up, Leatherman? Dead Ends Eddie. What up, Eddie? Yo. Okay, but look, y'all know where I'm coming from. Y'all know where I'm at on the conversation. If y'all have any comments, please make sure you leave your comments. If you have any suggestions on the shows or other ways of trying to get these things together, or you want to bring your conversation into what we're conversation about to help bring this debate situation along, I will always be glad, if it's worthy of doing the best I can to make things like that happen. Because again, I have good people out there, and then nobody, for me, my mentor in this YouTube thing is always going to be 7-8. So, I can always go to my brother, and I'm pretty sure if I need his help, he's going to be right there to help me out. So in any cases, again, it's anything that we want to make happen, I think we can make happen. But it's up to the audience to support us and give us a reason to do what we do. And I think the easiest thing you can do is subscribe and hit the damn like button. Come in and enjoy the conversation, because again, it's what it is. It's conversation. You got to be able to take the little bit of things that I'm saying and use them to what works for you. Never trying to say I'm better than anybody. That is not why we do this show. We're not here to be better than anybody. What we're here to do is share our experience, show our knowledge, pass it forward, because that is who we are as people. And anybody who has ever been in a position to do and be that person, that's what you do. Hold on 1 second. Yo. Not now. I'm finna close it down. All right, let me call you right back. Yeah, I'm finna close it down now. Hold on. I'll talk to you. I'll call you right back. See, Moses didn't think I was going on tonight, but I didn't want him to leave. I was going to deal with tonight, so that's why I'm doing this tonight, because This is the direction I'm going. I'm into that debating thing. I'm into, let's get rid of the useless arguing. Let's get rid of the real bullshit and let's get down to y'all really want to hear some controversial shit. You really want to see some shit? Get some real dog man to debate bloodlines or certain ways of doing things. And when I'm saying they're arguing points, we all didn't do the same things alike. That's for first and foremost. Their history will always speak for itself. So they will always be able to stand 10 toes down. So it's not like you can belittle any real dog man. And that's what I'm always telling y'all. Real dog man, we always settle our differences in the box. Because you can't change our history. Our history is what it is. What's there, if it was worthy of anything, then that means we'll always have something to talk about. And I've never been ashamed to talk about our history. And that's the whole point of sharing those type of conversations based off our experience and our knowledge, because you're going to get a whole lot of knowledge. Like I said, I used to sit around the barbecues, the matches, or just hanging out with a bunch of dog men and heard all the conversations and enjoyed them. Actually, this made us more eager to be better. And it always led up to meeting more people. That to me, that was the community. Remember, these people just didn't fall out of the woodwork. These people in our relationships came through other people and being worthy of being around them to be around others, and then have enough, character to at least be able to use the information that they were openly offering to give us and do something with it, to where they would be like, twins. I know where they got that from. All of them knew that we took a little bit of something from them. And they could almost pick out what it was. So that's where I'm at with that. I'm not here to shut the community down. I'm actually here to help the community. Share the love. Because the time's going to come that where we're not going to be able to do this anymore. And I'm thinking I'm rolling up on that time. But I need you guys to keep us doing what we're doing, because I don't want to fall short of nothing that I feel like I didn't do enough. And I think I still just got just a little bit more to do to put my nail in that coffin, where I will be comfortable about taking my brother away from here and sitting down. And not having to worry about, did we forget anything? Not having to worry about why I need to run back in here on Tuesdays and Fridays. I want to be able to walk away and know we did all we could do, and we put it out there, and I'm comfortable and I'm happy about it. This conversation here was just another conversation needed to be had. And I didn't think I needed more to do that, because tonight, y'all know what part of this game I hold. I'm the business side. And I think this is just a good business move. Because one thing it's going to do, it's going to help us help you. So before I get up out of here tonight, if you enjoyed the show and you kind of like what I was talking about and see where I'm coming from, and you really want to see this community take off in another direction, I need y'all to help me and show me some love, because what you're fixing to do for me right now, it don't cost you nothing. And that is to give me them damn thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Muscles, muscles, muscles. Now, give me some damn roses, roses. Mike need them damn roses. Now, I don't get a chance to sit in this chair and do a whole show for myself for a while. So it does help me out if y'all just show me a little bit of love, so I can go back, talk some shit and everything. Be like, yeah, they was listening. They was listening. Because it ain't about me and pedigrees. It's just me just coming straight at y'all with the real understanding the now and understanding the then. At some point, We got to get better at getting those points across, because if we don't do it, who else is going to do it? So I'm just doing my part. I'm passing it forward. Y'all show me the love, and just remember, one thing that we stand on it 10 toes down. We always, and I mean this, we always, damn it, scratch the win, baby. Scratch the damn it win. Competition, baby. So while I'm doing this and everything, I'm going to rock out with y'all. Y'all just make sure y'all keep showing that love. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. And I'm out of here. Hold up. Wait a minute. Can y'all hear me? Y'all hear me? If y'all can hear me, damn it, I need to see some goddamn thumbs up. Muscles. Now, 30-something people in here. Mean to tell me I can't get no more than that? Then give me some damn roses. I need them damn roses. Man, who y'all playing with, man? Look here. I need to show me some love. Here, let me cut my music on. Appreciate that, K-Walt. Hold on, man. Hold on, y'all. Yeah. All right, now. Big shout out to my man Eli Monster. I see you, Eli. Oh. Did it to myself again. I know everybody must be watching this damn debate because I don't see it enough time. Okay, here we go. Appreciate that. That's right. Show the love. Thumbs up. Muscles. Roses. Just show me. I know you're late. I know the debate's probably going. Just take time to show the twins some love. Until Friday. Y'all stay safe. Peace. Deuces. I'm out. Time for you. Go ahead. Yeah.